live in an age where it's no longer innocent until proven guilty. I'm talking about social media here as much as anything, but societally, this is definitely happening. In fact, you're no longer guilty until you can prove your innocence. That doesn't matter at all. As soon as you're tarnished with a brush, it sort of sticks. And actually, somebody can hold you accountable for something that you've not even said, and maybe something that they think you've thought. I'm getting a little bit tenuous here. But sometimes somebody actually says something and does something, directly implicates themselves, and then they are held accountable. And that is what we're going to be discussing today. The overarching, I think, accusation is against the club, most particularly against Karren Brady, because she is the one who is now going to have to be held accountable for what she said, what she's promised, and what she's failed to deliver. But make no mistake about it, for want of a better word, she is only the front man of this operation. It was something that was been promised by David Sullivan. It was something that's been promised before him by David Gold as well. And we're just in a situation now where I just believe they can be held accountable for yet another reason. Now, there's going to be an element of this video where you're going to be saying, hold on, no shit, Sherlock. I know, but it does matter when you can actually catch someone out. And this is where we are now. I've got to thank a Twitter and X account called West Ham Report. Wasn't particularly a post that gained much traction, but I saw it and I thought, wow, that's it. That is it. And I'm going to explain to you why. The tweet read, I am sort of paraphrasing it, but I'm sure they won't mind. World-class stadium, UEFA Category 4 stadium, international stadium to host games. It's not even considered to host games for the Euro 2028 tournament. That tells you everything you need to know, Karren Brady. Everyone sees through the facade of the claret carpet. It's good stuff. I mean, it's really good stuff. Let me bore you for a second and tell you why UEFA Category 4 is really, really important, and I'm just gonna pull up something here because I've asked for an explanation. UEFA Category Stadium 4 is really important because this was one of the boasts as to why we should move to the London Stadium, as to why the London Stadium was going to be so good that we could not turn down the opportunity. I'm going to read you the UEFA definition. So the UEFA Category 4 stadium is the highest ranking class of stadium, eligible to host eligible to host major international competitions and finals. Not most. Including the UEFA Champions League, Europa League, Conference League and European Championship matches. So not just a group games, but the finals. You can hold the final there. These stadiums must meet a comprehensive set of infrastructure and facility requirements. Really impressive stuff. And what Karren Brady was saying was, we have got a lot of it. You remember this, these words will haunt you. World-class team in a world-class stadium. Of course, we all know that because we all get played the clip so much, not by Karren Brady herself. I'm sure she'd want that to go away. I'm sure if Karren Brady could delete every single record there was of, well, it's just propaganda, isn't it? That propaganda which was accompanied by a really glitzy and polished CGI animation of the seats moving, the London Stadium seats moving over the athletics track and being all snug and lovely next to the pitch side. I'm sure if she could erase that stuff, she would do. So not her that shares it. Other people, basically West Ham fans, share it. As to say, look at what they've done, look at what they've promised. But that's the catchphrase, isn't it? That's the strap line. Well, world-class team in a world-class stadium, but she didn't just produce a 5-second video. This thing was slick, this was long-winded. She had much to say about it. And the UEFA Category 4 stadium is the standard for the reasons that I've just explained. And we're going to leave Upton Park. We have to leave Upton Park because look at what we're going to. To paraphrase, this is one of the world's best stadiums. Now, just to go back to what this tweet said, it's not even considered to host games for the Euro 2028 tournament. This is really important, and this is really damning. And this is far more damning than any profanity or any insult you can really throw at these people, because it demonstrates that what they promised hasn't really delivered. Now, I could possibly speculate that quite possibly there is still some infrastructure around the London Stadium which would mean it might be classified as UEFA Category 4. I don't know. I don't know if they've changed their parameters. I don't know if UEFA have changed how they assess stadiums. What I do know is UEFA have no interest in using this stadium. So as a boast, you might be able to try and get off on a technicality and say, oh, well, when we moved in, it was UEFA Category 4. That's as may be. But the boast, what it's saying is it's a world-class stadium. Well, football doesn't seem to think so. In fact, not just football, fans don't seem to think so. Fans regularly, and I'm talking about away fans, and they're really the only opinion that counts because realistically, they're unbiased, right? It gets voted the worst matchday experience in the Premier League every season, right? Every single season. Anyway, UEFA have decided not only can we not use this for finals, I don't have a problem with that. A final should be at Wembley, okay? But actually it's not even be used for group games. And I think that the biggest damning indictment of it is that actually, and I understand you need to spread it around because the European Championships of 2028 is a UK and Ireland one. So it's got to be, is it Aviva? I think the Irish Stadium is the Aviva Stadium. I couldn't tell you. Cardiff's got a sponsorship name now. Actually, it might be the Principality Stadium. Anyway, yeah, of course, Hampden Park, these have got to host games. When you start scratching below there, you would really expect that a stadium like the London Stadium with 66,000 capacity stadium is going to be a go-to place to host games. We as West Ham fans, we don't like the talk of the transport links. The fact of the matter is, I've been there in the Olympics when the Olympic. I've said this so many times, you're probably bored of hearing it. But I went on that. So there was the Super Saturday and the Friday before, which when Jessica Ennis did the first part of heptathlon. It was the. I think yes, it was. It was the heats for the 100 metres. You had Usain Bolt. You had all that stuff. But basically, everyone was popping out from the aquatic centre. They were coming out from the stadium. They were the basketball was there. The velodrome, which I know is a little bit further up, but the Olympic Park was packed, absolutely packed, and there was 120,000 people there. Westfield are fine with that stuff. It's really just West Ham fans that Westfield don't like, right? It was fine. And in terms of we don't like it because as football fans, we're blocked off from Westfield, we get stop and go. This doesn't happen to the average sporting fan. And I'll tell you this now, if we were able to have at London Stadium an England game, or whatever, or even whatever, to host a Spanish game or whatever the case may be, that wouldn't be the case. I think you'd very, very quickly find Westfield wasn't cordoned off. The reason I make that point is because these transport links, if you can walk straight from the station, unimpeded, are actually pretty good. So what my point really is, 66,000 seat stadium, big transport hub, relatively near the stadium. It should be a consideration. It's not. St James's Park has been picked. A Villa Park has been picked. But that's fine. I mean, particularly St James's Park, they're going to have something in the North East, and why not? It's a great stadium. But the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has been selected, and that's been built more recently. Now, don't get me wrong, I agree. I agree that all of these stadiums are better than the London Stadium, including the Tottenham Stadium. But I think possibly the real kick in the teeth is that the Hill Dickinson Stadium is being used. Not because they need one in Liverpool, they've already got Anfield there. Pretty much anywhere and everywhere is being picked above and beyond the London Stadium. Why? Because it ain't good enough. It's not as good as those. So despite all the propaganda, despite everything that everybody has been saying, it's just not good enough. World class? Not really. No, not at all. And actually, if you think about it, it's more damning than that. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, I've got to... What am I going to pick? I'm trying to pick which thing to sponsor. Do you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to plug Beer 52 again. There it is, Beer 52. We're very, very lucky. We've got a choice of 3 things that tomorrow I'm going to be promoting a video. There you go, different video. Beer 52. Do you want a free box of beer? I say free. You're going to have to pay £5.95 for the postage. And then we can get you a box of beer sent to you. Box of beer, 2 different packs of snacks as well. This is not a beer that you can get in a supermarket, by the way. No, 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 no. This is craft beer from independent breweries. Because Beer 52, what they want to do is give independent breweries the opportunity that, let's be fair, the big supermarkets won't give them. I've only got 3 beers left in here, and that's because I've drunk the rest of them. They're absolutely lovely. I've got to say, apart from there was a dark ale, I didn't like that. I don't like dark ale. I gave that away. But that's absolutely fine, because if you don't like dark ale, when you go onto the Beer 52 website, and by the way, you're going to want to use the link code literally underneath this video so as you can get this. Or you can use, basically, you can use the code, it's beer52.com/hammers. You can use that one if you want. When you select which beers you like, you can say, oh, I'd like a lighter ale or I'd like a darker ale. You can basically choose yourself. It's $5.95 for a whole box of beer. There were 8 juicy... I don't know why they're juicy. Look, our beers are juicy, aren't they? There were 8 juicy beers in there. There was a wonderful magazine which will tell you, so basically, if you stay with the subscription, then it will tell you where the next month's beer is from. It tells you all about it. This one was from the Northern Monk Brewery. There's another one here. I take it this one's coming up. This is from the Caledonian Brewery in Edinburgh. They go around the UK and Europe finding independent breweries to bring you the best tasting independent beers, lagers, ales. That's an IPA there, a lot of IPAs in there for your tasting pleasure. Please do take advantage of it. Basically, have some free beers on us. The link is in the description below. Actually, don't knock yourself out. No, I can't say that. No, drink responsibly. That's what you've got to do. And no children. 18 years and above, UK only, please. Right, I'll tell you why this is so damning. Because it was a promise. So you look at it and you think, well, okay, well you've promised us world-class football. We don't have that. You've promised us world-class stadium. These were the very reasons for leaving Upton Park. And yes, I know, stop going on about Upton Park. Well, I don't. It's not every day. I don't actually talk about Upton Park very much at all. But if you cannot live up to the promises that you've made your own words, then they've got to, listen, they've got to go anyway. These people have got to go. These people are not fit to run the club anymore. But it's gone from opinion to actual fact. So, I mean, a lot of the time, we were lucky enough that, sometimes you get asked to go on, and do a podcast with someone, or you might get asked to go on at the radio show or something like that. And sometimes people ask, and it happens all the time, and I don't like it, truth be known. What's your problem? West Ham fans, what's your problem? And a lot of the time it's anecdotal, and a lot of the time it seems, as far as the people are asking the questions, like you think you're an entitled West Ham fan. But this is not anecdotal. This is the promises we were given by the people that own the club, and they can't do it. It's impossible for them to do it. They cannot match their own promises. And it's not just about world-class football in a world-class stadium. The stadium is bad. It's bad. I mentioned this before, and I think this is why I didn't notice this whole Euro 2028 situation. If you remember, I did a video recently. It's very much concentrating on the athletics. And that's really important too, because it's not like it's really deemed to be a world-class athletic stadium anymore either. So sort of what is it? The reason I say that, again, it's not anecdotal, it's the facts. The 2026 European Championships is being held in the UK. The Athletics Championships. That's a big deal, right? Only the Olympics and the World Champs is bigger. Where would that be if it's in the UK? Well, everyone would think, what, the Olympic Stadium? No, it's not. It's good. I think it's the Alexandra Stadium. It's in Birmingham. The truth is, they prefer that. They held the national championships there this year. It's basically not even used for athletics. It's just damning stuff. And I don't know if it's because it's trying to be the best of both worlds, which means it's sort of master of none. This stuff never works. It's basically, UK athletics don't think that it's the best option for holding athletics events. UEFA don't think it's the best option for holding football events, even group stage ones. I used to have... but sometimes you try and do everything and you end up doing nothing. I used to go to a youth club. Probably some people are thinking, youth club? What's a youth club? Youth clubs are brilliant, but youth clubs are brilliant. But one of the biggest problems today is that there aren't bloody youth clubs or whatever. As far as I know, there's none. Kids don't go to them. We all used to go to youth clubs. at this pool table at our youth club, and it was a proper pool table. You know, the ones where you put the money in, and then you press it, and you got this window, and all the balls are there, and you press it, and they all go down. You pick up big, heavy pool table, like the type you'd see in a pub. Big, have a slate top, big, heavy thing. Could play wonderful. Anyway, in their infinite wisdom, the youth club decided that what they wanted to do was they wanted to get rid of that pool table and get a table that could become a pool table, or you could flip it over and it could also be a table tennis table. Anyway, the thing was crap. It basically was, and trying to be both, it was crap at either one. But you know, it was crap. It was lightweight. It kept on breaking. It was awful. It was in the end. It ended up folded up. And it ended up with a big blanket on top of it and people's drinks in it. It basically was never used. It was no good to anyone. And I think this is what's happened with this stadium here. It's no good for that stuff. It really isn't. And Sadiq Khan goes on about holding baseball there. It's crap. Honestly, it really, really is. And I'd love to be able to say it was great for football. I'd love to be able to say they got it right. I would admit, even if it was, if I was turning around and say, do you know what? It's so good. It might not be a good football stadium. It's so good, though, that they want to hold another Olympics here, or they want to hold another World Championships here, the European Championships for athletics. They don't. The fact of the matter is, even for concerts, the O2 is better. But this is their promise. Not that any of that concerns us. It is a concern, though, in terms of it making money, because it hemorrhages money. It loses money. 20 to 30 million pounds per year. And I just look at this and I think, You've not delivered on anything. And it's not us, it's not us fans. The majority of fans know that the stadium isn't fit for purpose. By the way, I actually, there's that thing that people always say, when West Ham are winning, no one moans about the stadium, right? We actually had I've kept a complaint. We had a complaint, literally, after that Burnley game, we had a complaint, and it was a win. And I've kept it. Just so next time. In fact, you can show them this. No one complains about the stadium when West Ham are winning. So have a look at this mug. He's been talking about it for 18 minutes. But it's their own words. They have been hung out to dry by their own words. I'm quite sure. I think they're discussing things with the FAB at the moment, the Fans Advisory Board. I think there's discussions. I'm sure small stuff will get done. What it will be, I don't know. Incrementally, there may be some small bits and pieces that get fixed. But I'm talking minor stuff here. Aesthetic stuff. Realistically, can they inherently change the structure of the stadium? No, that's what needs to be done. And for once, it's not just West Ham fans that are saying it. Well, or even away football fans. Have they come out and have UEFA said anything particularly derogatory about the London Stadium? No, not particularly. But when given a list of all the stadiums where they possibly could choose to host games for the 2028 European Championship finals, they've taken one look at London Stadium and said no. Because they know it, because they see how far it is from the pitch, because they see the trampolines. They basically see an athletics football stadium. And by the way, we're far from alone. There's a lot of teams in Europe who have this. But that's not why you hold the European Championships in the UK. You hold it here because of the atmosphere. You hold it here because it's raucous, because it's noisy, because of the fan experience, and because generally these stadiums are tight to the pitch. We've been left failing, and there you go. If any more evidence was needed, and I'm not talking about anecdotal stuff, they will or they will not do this, or they have or they haven't done this. This is it. Yeah, the proof of the pudding is literally in the tasting. The governing bodies of football, the governing bodies of athletics, they're looking at this. Home fans, away fans, they're looking at this stadium and saying it is not good enough.